What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another Dadgood Community Podcast. Today, we couldn't be more stoked. We're hanging out with the man, the myth, the legend, Mark A. Samuel. Mark, tell me if I got this right, brother. Let me give you a quick highlight and why this is a big one for us. My man, Mark, a serial entrepreneur stemming from co-founding brokerage firms to building fitness strategies and softwares, all the way running into driving a successful storefront on the mean streets of San Francisco. Are you kidding me? We all know that that city is not an easy city to sustain a successful business. And finally, leading into the heart of what we get to jump into today is that hashtag snacks world. My man leading the front with IWON Organics and especially with Mark Snacks. If you're not following him on LinkedIn, you are honestly missing out. Today, we get to sit down with the legend himself, my man, Mark. Welcome to the pod, brother. How you doing?
That was fucking ridiculous.
Let's go.
That was fucking ridiculous. And even more ridiculous is me finding out I have no power, so I have to go grab a plug while you're doing it.
No, you're good. I'll keep the spot on me for that one.
All good. What's up? Thanks for having
me. We're
me.
living, dude. We're so stoked you joined us, man.
Thank you.
Well, shoot, man. I feel like obviously this is a dad-centric, dad-good podcast. And so before we learn a little bit about your home team, like, how did you find out about Dadgood? How'd you tee up with some of these hooligans? Like, what's the origin of that story?
I have no idea.
I love that.
I do know that, yeah, I think it was probably, yeah. But then randomly, somebody that I know from my town, she's actually like my oldest sister's grade. She put me into a message with somebody from here and said, hey, you should know these people. And I thought it was a coincidence. I'm like, oh, I already know these people. But that was totally random, by the way. So anyway, there's some
little backdrop there. Mariana, who's on my team over at Bridge, like Mark just said, is friends with Mark's sister or older sister from childhood and happened to grow up together. So we worked together. She was like, hey, I have this guy that would be awesome for your community. You guys should chat. And then I had been following Mark on LinkedIn for a while. And it's just one of those people that like come across your feed and you just got to drop a follow to. So I have been tuning into his content for like months and months. And it was super random. She hit me up one day and was like, by the way, do you guys know each other? I was like, I don't think formally. So then put us in a quick group chat and we exchanged a few messages back and forth.
And then guys, really quick for everyone listening, I've been following Mark for quite a while too. And I really just love how he shows up on LinkedIn and, you know, the stuff that he shares, you know, the entrepreneur journey and also the things about his family and, the funny posts about his Chipotle orders, just in and out stuff, just all kinds of fun stuff that you get to see that he posts, gives you little glimpses. And yeah, when we started the podcast, I was like, you know, this guy sets a great example as, you know, a great dad and someone that I look up to and love your material and your content. So yeah, brother, I really appreciate you joining.
Thank you, Joe.
That's fire, man.
Yeah, man.
Heck yeah, dude. So it sounds like there was a mutual connection across a couple of connections inside of the community. And yo, that's the best way to spark the fire, right?
Yo, that's a slight plug right there. I'm not gonna say.
Hey man, look, come on now. Hashtag. But no, my man Mark. So first and foremost, let's start off. Let's hear a little bit about the home team, man. Who you got in the house?
Who I have in the house? Yeah, I have a daughter and a son, 9 and 11.
Okay.
That's who's in this house. Yeah, my situation is unique. They both live with me. They have always lived with me full time since I separated with their mom 5 years ago. So that's an interesting situation to have kids full time like that and doing all the stuff that we've been doing. It just so happens I have a new lady, which is amazing. And she has 2 kids. Yeah. So she has 2 kids. And so we're right at this point right now where we would potentially like merge. That's like next phase here. And then to be completely honest, it's so funny. I just got off a thing of another video with somebody. I would have kids now, dude. I'm 46. I'm fucking ready to go now.
Let's go. Let's go, Mark.
I'm ready to go now. But I'm serious. So I would never say like that I wouldn't have more, and we don't know where this story ends when it comes to when it comes to being a parent.
I love that, man. Are we allowed to dig a little deeper into that unique circumstance, like surface level?
We could dig. Their mom is not able to take care of them, and she deals with stuff that I would not want other folks to deal with. And you can read it. Everybody's got stuff that they deal with. Some people have things that are harder to deal with, and they cannot fix them or are not willing to fix them.
Understood.
And so that's just our circumstance. I'm still blessed beyond measures because I get to be with my kids every single day, and it's just one of those things.
So fire, dude. You could just tell just by you telling that, like, one, super inspiring, just in the fact that you're obviously in a situation where as a father, you're like, hey, put me in, coach, time to step up. And even just you saying, look, bro, I'm ready for more kids. Are you kidding? I think that is the most beautiful type of trait or characteristic of fatherhood. And so, like, right off the bat, we're 3 minutes in and I'm already like, Mark's the man.
Yeah, well, parenting sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what we're talking about. I don't mind saying that because that's the reality of it. What I'm very honest about is it's the great outside of health, outside of our own individual health. Second to that would be the greatest gift by God is being a parent. Now, that is because if you are cut like me, I don't know, we can all go around the room here about how we believe we're cut. I was meant to be a parent. I'm here. I am cut in a certain way where I cannot be without my kids. And that is not the same for many people that I know. We're talking specifically about dads right now, so I'm just going to focus on that.
Yeah.
I know plenty of dads that can go on week-long trips for work, and I could never do that, ever. And so now, let me go back to my original comment. Being a parent is extremely difficult. I would say 90% of the time it sucks. It sucks.
No, I would say that. We would say that.
Okay, 10% of the time is so fucking magical that it trumps the 90% by 100-fold easily.
Yeah.
Dude,
Mark is dropping bombs right now. I'm in it.
You know what I mean? So you understand that. So that's why, again, I would never not want to be in this situation. It's a blessing by God. And even though that 90% of the time feels like an absolute war, it's just we're here to do this thing.
I love that, man.
Yeah, man.
Before I want to throw it to the Dadgood guys, but there's one thing that's a burning question, because obviously I've been following you for a minute, Mark. I've seen the lineology of your career, and like, you are a serial entrepreneur. So taking some of the family insight that you just shared and how you're able to really just show up and scale and build these kick-ass businesses that are going to the moon. Like, talk to me about what that Olympics juggling practice is like, man. That can't be easy.
There's no Olympics, and many did not go to the moon. They went to the fucking depth of hell. So just keeping it very real there. It's because I don't take this serious, man. Just like I wrote yesterday, I went to open house. I'm pointing because it's across the street. The middle school is open house. And I saw and talked to and listened to teachers who were telling me how what they're doing, what the curriculum is, what they do for our kids, how excited they are. That's God's work. I'm fucking selling snacks, dude. So I'll frame it to you like this. It's health first, always. You got to take care of yourself. You got to get up and go to the fucking gym, and you got to eat right for yourself. Because if you are not healthy, you cannot help anybody else. That's number one, priority number one. Well, that's selfish. What do you mean? No. Selfish is not taking care of yourself. So there's one. Two would be your family. So in this case, we could talk about kids, or you could have a spouse, and like, you got to take care of them. Make sure they are being taken care of. Then it's work. So think about where that sits. That's the priority list. So all these people that are talking about, I'm up at, when the kids go to bed, I'm in the computer. I don't give a fuck what you do. That's for you. That's great. That's your thing. if that makes you happy and you got solace with that, I'm totally for it because I'm more into do you all the time.
Yeah.
For me, though, people, it's shocking sometimes. I work from 9 to 2. Right after this, I'm going to ride my bike to go get my kid. So, and that's it. I'm more excited about that than not to put this away because I love you guys, man. I love for you. I'm excited about going to get off this and go do that. So from 9 to 3, I work. Now, I will say, I'll leave you with, I'm a dog. I can work my 6 hours against anybody's 12. Let's go. We can go 1 for 1 all day long. So there's context for you. I hope it filled the gap.
Nah, it for sure did. And God, I'll be so blunt. I did not anticipate that as your response, but that just paled in whatever my expectation of your response. That was a fire, and it brings me back to kind of the Dadgood community tagline, which is, dude, win at home and win at life. I think that, dude, that's like a perfect example of how you carry yourself and the disciplines that you have where you're prioritizing just the right shit and everything else is nonsense. Like if you carry that at the top or the pinnacle, then bro, everything else is cake.
What are people going to remember you for, dude? You think that they're going to fucking remember me because I sold some kettle chips? I knew that guy. He was that brash mouth. Those kettle chips, they were fucking amazing. We had them in our house. If somebody's talking about me like that when I'm 6 deep, I fucked up, man.
I love that,
I fucked up. And who knows what I do after this? I could be doing that, this. No, man. No. You want somebody saying, and again, even sometimes you should care less about that, what somebody else is saying. But you want 10 people being like, you know what? I remember that guy coaching my kid. I remember that guy packing in 6 kids in his car, driving them to Oakland, California on fucking Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. That's what you want people talking about you. I'm telling you, dude.
Dang.
A lot of guys and moms, they got it twisted on what priorities should be and what it is that they should be focused on as, but again, I still say that's just my sentiment. And it could be nothing to somebody and mean nothing to somebody. Always do whatever is in your heart and you'll be fine.
I love that. Hey, co-founders, man, my dad gang.
Yeah, no,
what do
I
you
was
think of that, dude? My boy
No, I was
Mark
gonna
is
say-
not fucking around. You know what I mean?
Nah, bro. And honestly, growing up, I was fortunate enough to have a dad that was very present and who was a very cool dad. He didn't necessarily take care of himself that well health-wise, but he was always out in the street playing manhunt, playing basketball. He was the cool dad. All of my friends always wanted to come over and hang out with my dad or wanted my dad to like pick them up from school, which is sick. And I hope that one day I can accomplish that. But that's a big burden to carry, right? You're focusing on your own little tribe, but next thing you know, like you have your kids' friends over for dinner, and next thing you know, you're inviting them on camping trips, and all the sleepovers are happening at your house. I got to experience that as a child, and that was a beautiful thing because I looked at my dad as a role model, like, damn, this is the coolest human being on the planet, and other kids are seeing that too. Do you feel that way with your kids' friends as well, or like, talk to me a little there? Like, are you the cool dad? I don't know.
You just said it. So you just described something. Think about that. For your dad may or may not listen to this. I don't know if he's still alive or.
Yeah, no, he very much is. He listens all the time. Yep.
There you go. Well, you just made his day. I don't even know the guy. I guarantee you just made his day. He wants to hear that more than Jim over there at Siemens when I worked there for 50. Great, dude. You understand? And so, in short, yes, I don't mind hearing from my son's mouth that, hey, Ian told me that you're his favorite dad. We don't need to say anything back. You just absorb all that and let it sit with your heart for a second. That's what we're trying to do. And by the way, for all the dads out there, that doesn't mean you got to be that guy who's always, rah and all that. I'm harsh as fuck, dude. And I coach a lot of these guys. I'm nasty sometimes, dude. But they know deep down who's got their back. And so do whatever, like you go back to that thing. Don't change who you are and don't try to strive to be a certain thing or be a certain thing to somebody. Just do you.
And to segue off that, you don't seem like the participation trophy type of coaching dad.
No way.
talk to me a little bit about,
No way.
coaching the kids.
There's plenty of we left a tournament. I had a tournament guy this weekend. Hey, you want me to send you those?
Unless there's a number
First place
one
or
on
no
that
place?
bad boy.
First place or no place?
It's not even first place. It's like nowadays they'll give you the awards after you want just these little simple tournaments or whatever it is, a 2-game. You get your little thing and everybody's, get out of here, dude. We're here to practice. Now, a caveat to that is it's not to be harsh. Like, when they're in kindergarten, they're doing the little soccer thing. Usually when you've seen this thing, if your kids are getting there to be old enough, like they get the little ribbon, don't spoil fun. You don't got to be a jerk about it. You know what I mean? But then as they start aging a little bit and they understand what's happening here. No, we don't need to take the medal for everything because you showed up on a Saturday and you got your ass kicked every single time. We know what winning and losing is. I actually got in my community here. I don't have the best. I don't mind saying. I'm just saying I don't have the best reputation. Like I was not allowed to coach some of the things because I just I'm honest about the way that I see things and how it should be. I'm not saying I'm right and I'm not saying anybody's wrong. It's just the way it is. We've gone way away from the realities of life. There's
100%.
winning and losing. Simple. You know what I mean? And what most forget is you're going to be doing that your entire life. When you are finally going into a career or you're in, you're trying to go for a specific job or you're vying for a promotion and all that. What do you think you're doing? Or you're sitting in that office and that person next to you, the number 2 sales guy or gal is trying to take your chip right there. You think that there's like something anyway. You got to understand competition is just life and you should learn it early. Period.
No, that's a great point. And I have a 2-year-old and a 6-week-old, 7-week-old. Nico's about to be 2 months old, but that's something that, life in general, you get older, you get beat up, you understand that you don't get your way. Life is a nice person, right? You get hit in the face, you got to get back up. I saw an unbelievable video this morning. I was at the gym, I was doing my cardio, I was doom scrolling Instagram, and I see a video of a mom and her son sparring outside. And this mom was jacked, and her son, like a little tubby kid. Nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean? I was a tubby kid, I grew out of it, but whatever. She's teaching him. And she's like, listen, put your hands up. And he's laughing about it, and she whacks him in the face. And she's like, life's going to hit you like this. She's like, so you're going to fight back or you're going to continue to get beat up and you're never going to get up. And as the video progresses, you can see his smile start to go away. And now he puts his hands up and he's starting to defend himself. And the mom's throwing some haymakers at him. Granted, she's got padded gloves on. He's got gloves on too. But it was such a deeper message of like, hey, she's not picking on her son. I'm teaching him these life lessons early on because this is the reality of what's going to happen to you one day. It's not life's going to be a cakewalk. You are going to get beat up and you better figure it out now and start learning how to overcome it. And I think that's super powerful to start teaching our kids from a young age.
Yeah. I'm not big on putting it on video, especially I wouldn't put it on video. I don't know who's out there watching. And it's just gonna, next thing you know, social services are showing up at the door.
Yeah,
but
I
definitely understand. I get the sentiment. And it's like, but everybody has their own teaching style. I know people are super soft and always soft, and I don't see it too. Because there's a lot to be said about that, the soft glove stuff. And I've seen really great people come out of that, rise into adulthood. And so there's no right way. It's like we started with, it's your way and it's all good.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Yeah. And I think the reality is like, for lack of a better term, we're all kind of experimenting here because there is no manual. There is no like 100% right way. You're experimenting and you're iterating as you go, right? Like, so sometimes you're like, yeah, probably shouldn't have said that way. My bad, kid. And I think that's the reality of like, we do have to have some humility and our ability to interact with our kids. But I'm similar to you, Mark, where, if I'm that kind of person where I'm like, hey, if I was talking to you all day and I had a big chunk of meat in my teeth the entire day, and you said nothing, like, how are we friends? And so in the same way to our kids, if there's something that they're doing that is not good for them, not going to be helpful for them, and we never tell them, and they go out into the big bad world and they're learning that for the first time, I feel like I didn't do my job as a dad. And I think a lot of people are going like that. I always think about American Idol, Chris. Like, I'm like, back in the day when American Idol was on, I was like, yo,
Simon,
did no one ever tell them that they can't sing? There's no way This is the first time that they're realizing that they can't sing. It had to be either all an act or like everyone around them should be put in jail because they didn't never communicate it to them really like the real. And I think, yeah, like the soft parenting, all that stuff is good, but I think we're losing our ability to truly communicate to our kids on things that are detrimental to them, like that they have to grow up, they have to mature. And my job as a parent is my belief. My job is to bring my kids to maturity physically, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, intellectually, like all those avenues. I'm bringing them from point A to point B. I obviously have a tribe around me that's going to help me in that capacity, but ultimately it's my job as a father to help my kid get there. And if I'm not communicating them in a real way, right? Like in that medium or that mechanism might be different based on personality, based on their personality. Some kids are like, yo, I can take that. Some kids like they are done forever after you just go a little bit here and you realize that and you iterate. But I think a good leader knows how to get the best out of their kids. So as a coach or as like as a parent, I'm definitely on a same like lens. If you love your kids, you should be communicating like, hey, son, like you need to grow up. Like you need to be mature. Because right now you're crying because you can't play your video game. That's not gonna work. You got to mature and grow out of it. I know you don't like that, but that's not the right way to respond when you don't get your way. Because what that turns into as an adult is road rage or some random stuff where you're like, I didn't get my way, and I'm gonna pop off in a way that's just not healthy for anyone around you.
Good stuff.
No, I think it's powerful, man. I'm curious to hear, because look, like, and Mark, remind me again. So 9 and 11, do you have two boys or what are you got to?
No, what? 9-year-old's a girl.
9-year-old's a girl. All right, cool.
Yep.
So, and I want to get your input on this as well, because I love that position of discipline and tough exterior. And but I got to tell you, and I want to hear what Warren thinks of this, because I know he's got two little princesses as well. I got three of them. That's right. I got a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old daughter, and honestly, they smile at me and I just melt. And so it's a fine line between like, hey, I want to like show you the real world and show you the ropes that like, stuff isn't fair. But at the same time, like, you know what, little girl, go ahead and grab that participation trophy. You showed up today. Hey, really, really, really good job. Daddy's proud of you. So I wanted to like play that side of the advocacy table because as much as I want to be that person, and I think that is going to be the best for them, bro, when you got two little girls, man, that it's hard, man. It's hard not to just smother. Warren, what do you think, man?
I think even going back to what you guys were just talking about, I mean, again, my girls are young. The oldest is 4, and then the middle is 3, and then the youngest is 1.5. So I'm trying my best. I grew up in a family with just me and my brother. So I'm surrounded by women all the time, and it's the best life. It is like really is. It's such a blessed life, and I'm so grateful. But I think that's one of the reasons why I really love seeing Mark's stuff. Like I see the post, he goes to the gym, he takes really good care of himself. You'll see his daughter at the gym with him, and because his, those things that he does, it comes through and his kids see him doing it, and so they want to be involved in those kind of things. And I've already started to see that with my 4-year-old. Like I'll go to the gym and randomly she will come with me. We have a gym in our neighborhood that's right next to the pool, and she wants to go to the pool, and I'm like, well, I'm going to go to the gym first, and she'll kind of go with me, and I'll set up a few things and she'll do some stuff. And I just love that she's already getting that exposure to those kind of things. But I would probably say I'm a little like rough around the edges, if you will. Like a good example that comes to mind is we're on vacation right now down at the beach, and I think my 3-year-old was running around in this square where there was like a lot of people, and she fell and like scraped her knee up, and she kind of like started to cry, like a little bit. It wasn't like traumatic. And I was like kind of far ahead because, when you have multiple kids, you're like chasing another one. And I just kind of was like, hey, honey, like I was like, get up, like you'll be fine. Like I kind of could see from afar that she was like, and, I'm sure some people were probably like, dude, like, you're not going to like run over there and like, pick her up and just be like, oh my goodness. And I was just like, I think about those things sometimes and I'm like, you want them, you want them to grow up and be tough, but obviously you want them to know that you're there to catch them and like protect them and all those things. But that's something that came to mind. And honestly, my wife is very similar to that too. I've seen her where she's even closer to the situation. And I'm almost like, honey, should we go? And she's just like, no, they'll be fine. Like she'll get up. And then when my wife says that, I'm just like, well, I definitely can't run over there now and be like, honey, like, you know. So, but I think with girls, I'm learning. And I mean, I know as parents we are every day, and somebody even asked me and my wife the other day, like, you know, how do you guys do it? How do you know what to do? And I just thought it was so funny because I was like, well, you don't. Every single day you just literally figure it out. You get to the end of the day and you're like, that was terrible. I really messed that up. I totally failed there. This was good. And then you just relearn stuff the next day. And so, you know, with little girls, it's a learning curve. So yeah.
Mark, is there a difference in your approach when you're talking to? I'm just saying, when you're talking to your little girl as opposed to talking to your son, your man of the house. Is there a different approach?
No, our situation, I guess, a little unique. I mean, she's really, um, they try to put the label on it. She can hold her own. In fact, she would whoop her brother's ass, or it's the best way to put it. And she does. Yeah, and she does. So, she's a real sporty girl. And some of it, of course, is because she's been around just a couple guys, which, you know, is one of those things. One of the things that I'm excited about finally bringing somebody in that I want to, because I don't know if you've ever been, my situation is so unique. You got to be very careful. Can't just be out there dating and being a scumbag. It doesn't work. You could be a scumbag in the background. You're just not bringing these women around if you care about your situation at home with kids. That's for any single guy out there. You got to be careful with stuff like that. So I didn't, you know, they were very rarely introduced to anybody. And so with that said, that's another beautiful thing about bringing a woman in. You want that female aura going on with your girl. With that said, so she's been around a lot of testosterone, you know, every day, and so she can hold her own. So she definitely doesn't get she's daddy's little girl for sure. And you see it privately and and all that fun stuff, but like she's all good.
Sick.
And so she can hold her own. And like, more like what Warren was saying, I see her fall on a bike. People are like, why aren't you should have ran. I'm like, I don't need to run. She's good. Get up.
Yeah.
Get
Put some
up.
dirt on it.
What do you want me to do? Right.
A lady
So
in my neighborhood.
That's my thing.
Yeah, a lady in my neighborhood, her kid like fell in the grass, and my kids were around. She like ran over, and my wife was there. She was just, oh my God. And I was just like,
but that's
I looked at my wife.
That's
I was polite.
That's
yeah,
okay.
I was polite about it. But I looked at my wife. I was like,
it's the soft glove stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good. I know so many parents like that. Some would be like, oh, that's so whatever. It's kind of nice actually to see that.
Yeah.
Come here, Susie.
Yeah.
Come here, Susie. Like, it's all good. It just doesn't have to be you know,
right.
and so you're doing whatever's comes natural. Like you had somebody said, Charles, you might have been, there's no pamphlet for this thing. You're just learning on the job like you would anywhere else, and whatever works for you is what works for you, and that's that.
Sick, man.
And I Warren, to your point, I just think of consequence of having a lot of kids. Like, I have 5 kids.
Yep.
Consequence of having a lot of kids
I
is just
remember
like,
seeing
you
that,
don't
by the way.
have
God
the
bless you.
ability to go run over to that kid that fell down.
Yeah.
I got 4 other kids, bro. So
You're
like,
right.
we're trying to survive. So there are some things you have to learn as a middle child that they may have had a different experience from my older one when it was just one.
Yeah.
Just by like
Sure.
a indirect consequence of things. I think so I have 3 girls, 2 boys. Right now, this whole week they did a wrestling camp all morning. So 6:30, 8:30 every day. This all week. My oldest boy, and my daughter, 9 and 7. My daughter is way better. She's way more coachable than my son. So they fight all day just because they're close in age. So she's holding her own. She's wrestling like 11-year-old girls. Now, she doesn't have any technique because if you've done wrestling is so technique oriented. So it's very tough. If you haven't done it, and like there's other people who've done jits or wrestling, it's a very hard sport because there's so many different things you need to do to be able to move around. But I was just proud that she was wrestling 11-year-olds and not crying. Cause I was like, yo, I don't let that hurt. I don't like you got like, she did you
Got
dirty.
a bell rung.
Like, that's like so I think both. So my girls, they do ballet, they do gymnastics, they wrestle, they play basketball, they play soccer. So I just think that like I want both. Like I would prefer that like my daughter can make sure she doesn't get beat up by her older brother. I would prefer that she can handle her own. But my son knows without a doubt, if he ever goes full strength on his little sister, it's gonna be a problem. Like no matter what, doesn't matter if she tags him right on the chin. Like it does not matter. He always knows he's wrong. So I feel for my oldest son, but it's just a reality. They always fight and wrestle because they're close in age. If she tags him one time, you're just gonna take it on the chin, bro, and you have to move on because you're not allowed to give it back to her. And that's just like that's my philosophy in the home. You are never allowed to go full board on your sister. That's never going to be a thing. In my household, I'm in a similar like I have so many kids that I can never run to my kids, and I've just felt like I've always watched them. Like my curiosity has always been I just want to see what they do. And 9 times out of 10, if I act like when my younger kids when I first became a parent, when I ran to them, it made it worse. When I act like it was a big deal, they were like, "Oh, this is a big deal." But when I act like I didn't see them, typically they're like, "Oh, I guess nobody's like paying attention to me. I'm gonna keep it pushing and keep going down the street." But when I chased them or ran to them, like almost every time for my younger kids, that's when they started balling. Like it was a show,
Yeah.
it was a drama. At least personally for me. So I've learned that I'll watch from the corner of my eyes to see how they respond. And if it's a big one, then like, hey, like act accordingly. But if it's just a little scrape, keep it pushing. We got places to go with a bunch of people. Let's do it.
Definitely. I want to go back to a comment that Mark had mentioned that I think really hit home, especially for single dads. Everybody's got a crazy, chaos, unique circumstance, man. And so that comment that he made with respect, like, don't be out there running these streets, introducing your kids to a shit ton of brand new people. Like, that's not the route. But what it made me kind of think of, especially with the way that you've been raising your kids, Mark, is like, so the misses that you're with, you guys are exploring kind of an expansion of the household. Are your kids homies with her kids? Have they met? Do they get to hang out? What does that look like?
Big homies.
Sick.
Love that.
The two younger ones, her son and my daughter, they're both what I'd consider to be high energy. Again, there's these labels that, everybody places. They're very high energy, not even what I'd consider normal high energy, higher than
Yeah,
that.
like they get after it.
So they're like two rascals right here in the neighborhood, dude. So yeah, it's all good. Again, by God's hand, that's what's happened here, and we'll go from there.
Nah, that's very
That's a
cool.
beautiful thing to obviously you like you were saying, family is a priority, and obviously you have every right to find your person in life. Everyone deserves their person. Like you should look out for yourself in that sense. Like you deserve to find your person, and at the end of the day, kids kind of have to like deal with that to a certain extent. Now, the fact that both of your kids get along, that's phenomenal. Now, just so happens that my wife and I were watching Step Brothers last night. That's not the case. You know if you've seen it, you know what goes on.
Yeah.
Front yard, baseball bat, golf club, knock each other out. It's tough, but no, man, that's a beautiful thing to hear that they're getting along and like you're doing your thing. You two are, flourishing your relationship, but the kiddos get to hang out, and two high energy kids just get to do their thing and hang out. It's better to do that in a duo.
Yeah, it's a blessing when you find somebody, you don't know what you're going to find or when it's going to happen. But I've always wanted more kids. Like Charles, God bless you, dude. But I did know I would have had more kids, by now if I was still with their mom. Because I wanted more kids. I don't know if it was 4 or 5 or whatever. So then all of a sudden it happens and where you're like, because that they would be mine. That's how I would always look at it, right? So you've added to that, and then who knows what happens from there. But again, everything sort of happens as cliche as it sounds. If you don't have faith in that ideology of it's happened, this is what's supposed to happen. I'm here now because of X, or oh, now I know why this past thing didn't work. Or it doesn't have to be a relationship. It could be work. I can be a multitude of things. You find yourself in these new places, and you just have to sit with it and recognize this is right. This is right now. There's a lot of wars I went through to get here. And it's not to say there won't be more wars ahead of me, but you just got to be really, really grateful for where you're at every so often and do a check-in.
I love that.
Mark, I
am curious. Oh, sorry. Go for it, Charles.
I just want to ask a question that's been percolating in my head around like what you said earlier around like your 6-hour schedule. I'm thinking about dads out there who are just new in their career, just starting, and you kind of mentioned health, family, then your work, who are struggling with that balance. Like they feel like they're behind. They feel like they need to kind of get to a place where they can finally have that order in the right place. Like, is that something that you have recently adopted, or is that something that you've always kind of understood, even early in your career when maybe you didn't have some of the financial like flexibility or freedom that you might have experienced now? I'm just curious to understand that part of your journey.
That's a good question. It's also, that's why I say that works for me, right? Somebody would be like, I know, but I work for somebody. They would never let me, or I recognize that it's everybody has their own situation. Somebody might have to be in an office from 8 to 6. That's that person's situation, and I totally understand and respect that. And all you can say is make sure you're doing your best while you're doing that, because maybe there's an opportunity ahead of that looks different. Maybe it aligns more with where you see yourself or where you want to be. You know, we all have friends in different arenas of their career, and you're like, I wish I could do what they're doing. Works for a tech company, they're working from home, they don't do shit. They get paid $180,000 a year, they got stock options, they got fucking benefits, they just took off 3 weeks, and they just took it. We all know it, but it's one of those things you just go, well, that's it, that's the gig that they got. So it just is. I've been on that type of schedule for quite some time. Early in my career, again, I had always done my own thing, so it's different than most. I probably grinded, a little bit differently, as they would say, right? I grinded. I was really into, I needed the car and the watch, go down to the club, be fucking doing stupid, really nasty, just being dirty. And God, thank you, blessed.
You bet.
I feel you, man. I feel you.
So yes, just different times, it allows you to change what your purpose is and where you want to be within yourself. But it's a really good question. And again, for anybody who always says things, that's why that whole 4-hour work week and, oh, well, I will do this, and I don't know why everybody isn't. Shut the fuck up. You don't know. You know what I mean, though? You understand that, right?
Yeah.
For sure. The coaches and this is what I would do, is I would shut the fuck up. You have no idea. This is an important piece, though. You have no idea what somebody's circumstance is. You don't know where they came from, even in what I do for a living. The reason why I feel so grounded is, we all grew up. Somebody might have had a dad that was a banker. They got money in the bank. Like there's what I call a backfall for whatever happens. And people are just not understanding that. Like they're not relating to the realities of real life. That's why those that come from nothing, the ones that actually come from nothing, and they went out on a limb and went for it, and they made, like, those are the ones that should get all the glory. Not when you got a trust fund and you're, not to take away from that, because I think that's fucked up too. I call it just the hand you were dealt. Everybody was dealt a different hand, and that's totally cool. And you shouldn't feel one way over the other. Just you should be well cognizant about the way you're talking about how somebody else should be doing their thing. You have no fucking clue what somebody's life is like, and what their real responsibilities are, and how they should or shouldn't be working, or when they should or shouldn't be, or whether or not they should just go for it. All those people, you got to take a risk in life. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know where that came from.
Hey, bro, keep bringing that heat. Are you kidding me? No, that's honestly, there's a couple of us in this Dadgood community, myself included. You need to be hit with that type of wisdom pie, if you will. You know what I mean?
Hey.
Just reality.
No, I love it. I love it.
But I think it's super helpful that I think one of the biggest weaknesses in our culture is that we lack self-awareness. We lack the ability to really understand where we are in relation to other people. So oftentimes our advice and our communication is void of that reality of where we are and why that may or may not be different than someone else. And I think we usually do a lot better when we can just have a clearer comprehension of what what is really like for yourself. And then now you can actually have a better understanding for the people around you. I think we would all do a lot better to just really have understand a little bit more of that, Mark. So I do appreciate that.
Because we can't talk to each other anymore. We have these platforms now where you have people you'll never see, and they're able to say whatever they want whenever. They've never been punched straight square
The
in their
keyboard
fucking
warriors.
mouth, people. Okay. So that's one piece. But just on the topic of anything, I just spoke, this is just for fun. Like I'm lucky the community we built online, like I very rarely have to, this is so random, but it's a good timing of this. I just blocked like 3 people in the last month. I've never had to do that because I'm getting more sensitive to the fact of when somebody's just talking shit for the reason of just talking shit, or they're just wildly moronic. I got to just be away with that. I don't want them dropping in my. So it's easier now. And with that said, it's because we can't just talk about anything. We can't talk about Trump without somebody saying, "You going wild on me for no reason."
Yeah.
I made a reference to Trump's social media platform, which is amazing, by the way. The same way that I would say Gavin Newsom, who's a fucking, I'm not even going to say it. Go follow him.
I heard it.
It's amazing. I think it's amazing too what his platform. But I was just making reference to how funny Trump's platform is. It doesn't matter that if I like the guy, don't like the guy, because fucking we all know we all would say the same thing. He ain't babysitting my kids. I don't give a fuck. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
And somebody out of all of them has to say something about Hitler and Trump being related. I'm like, we're talking about fucking biscuits and gravy. We're talking about biscuits and gravy. Why are you doing this? Anyway, I don't know how this relates. I think it had something to do with the fact that we can't talk to one another, but whatever, dude.
But you're so right. I think the socials have really changed this, because I had a Superman post, and the kind of comments that I got on the Superman post that once like did well. I was like, yo, this wasn't even what I was even.
What's Superman do to anybody, bro?
Well,
you made a post one time
and other stuff, and like it was just people were just walling out. Like there was some like tropes in there, and people were frustrated. But I was like, yo, like this is not even a part of the post.
Well, I remember you made a post one time about you made a post one time about pickleball and some other sport or something, and made some sort of comparison. And it's like, listen, I'm a big advocate of like, you're allowed to have your own opinion. Screw what everyone else thinks. No one else is paying my bills. I can say whatever I want. It shouldn't bother you. And if it is bothering you, Mark, that's a great point. You block 3 people. I wish I block people all the time. Not all the time. But like, if they bring something that isn't of not necessarily value, but if someone is diminishing what I'm saying, I'm not on social media doing bad things. I post about my family. I post about what I believe in. I post about work. I hype up my guys. You know what I mean? And if you're coming on my platform and talking shit or talking down while I'm trying to empower other people, dude, I need none of that. Peace out. Get out of here. But you're right.
Yeah,
there are a lot of keyboard warriors.
It's their problem. It's not. I always remind people, it's not you that they have a problem with. It's themselves.
Yeah.
It's themselves. To go on, I don't mind disagreement. I love that. I don't mind an opinion. I love that. I'm wrong all the time. Like, what are we talking about here? But if you are going to be disrespectful, knowingly disrespectful, or say things that, again, are nonsensical and just continue to go in on that, there's something going on with you internally. And that's something that they got to deal with. And I always remind people, never take offense. It's not your problem. It's their problem. Yeah, you always have to say that to yourself. It's not my problem. It's their problem. I used to have a hard time understanding and really, really accepting that. I would always take offense and get wildly fiery inside about some shit. And then I'd be like, why are you doing that? They win. When they got you twisted, they win. No. Nothing for me to be twisted. I'm good. They got the problem.
Yeah.
Let them go deal with that with their own therapist. You know what I mean? So
what's that expression? The living rent free in your head type of mentality.
Like
yeah. All right, Mark, I know you got to hop on the bike. I know you're going to go pick up your kids from school, but let me hit you with one more question and then we will do a say la vie and this kind of goes full circle. The way we started out, your origin of finding out about the likes of Guy and Warren and Dadgood, I'm super curious because, like, dude, you're so put together. You're very disciplined. You don't need to come on a podcast like this. You know what I mean? So what went through your head when was it Warren or Guy? Like what, why are you here, man? Because
I knew you guys had something cool. I knew what it was about. I knew the subject matter. I follow you guys. I'm connected to you guys on here. One of you guys were sitting in my thing for a long ass time.
It's probably
and that's
me.
because when you
I was
reach
the
a certain
last
number,
to join the group. It's probably me.
You can't even. People come to me, they're like, you haven't even accepted. I'm like, dude, it doesn't let you accept it. What do you want me to do? Anyway. So I love to do stuff like this. Like I try not to do it very much, but the ones that kind of like, I'm like, that would be fun. There you go. There's my answer.
Sick.
Because I knew you guys you're doing good things. And I knew that we'd have something to rap about.
I know,
and Mark, I was stoked when you did answer so fast and you said yes. I was like, heck yeah, because again, not to gas you up or anything, but I've been following for a while, and like I said, man, I just love seeing what you put out there, especially, I mean, I love all of it, but like, especially, the stuff, when I see you with your kids and just like how you are as a dad, I could just like tell, and like, I've never even met you in person or anything, but it just comes through in like the posts and the photos, and I'm just like, this is a great dad. And then, dude, I'll be honest, I'm a big gym bro, and so is Guy. Like, bro, we'll just throw this in really quick, but dude, you look sick, dude. Not to make it like weird, but I know how hard that is to achieve that. Not like, let alone run your own businesses. You have kids, like, dude, getting in there and looking like that doesn't come. And again, it kind of goes back to some of the stuff we were talking about. A lot of people nowadays, they think, dude, I'll do this for like 2 weeks and I'm just like, well, good luck with that, because it's not going to happen. You got to put in. So when I see those posts, because of my personal preferences and me being a gym person, I'm like, dude, a lot of people don't realize, they just look at that and they may think like, oh, whatever, gym bro. I'm like, that's a lot of freaking work right there, and that's how I try to hold myself to that same sort of standard too.
One really quick thing, because I got to talk about it. Mark's Chips, the kiddos, how involved are they with the testing of the flavors before you get the batches out and in development? Are they involved in that process?
He posts about this.
That's a good
He posts
question.
about this.
They get the first bags. This one was a little bit easier. I knew what I was going to have. It wasn't like I had to innovate a bunch of stuff like I've done before, where you got multiple inputs in the product. But they're the first to get it, and I trust any kids. I've always said this. Like, you have a food and beverage product, something that they can have. You put it in front of 100 kids,
it won't
and
lie.
Go get real feedback, because they'll tell you. They will tell you.
Look, this sucks, dude.
You have
they will tell you.
Have they tasted some where they're like, yo, Pop, this ain't it?
Not taste. No, not just taste some. I now have cases here, and this is how I know. Remember, there's a lot I have to do now to build the actual brand. Like, we have a great product. And by the way, each of you, when we're done here, we're on a thread somewhere, I'm assuming. You just email me your addresses. That's number one. 2 is, it's all good. And is they go back. That's how you know. Is they go and open up more bags since I've had these here the last 2 weeks. That's how you know if you have a good product. Again, don't compartmentalize to like 2 kids, but just like, that's a good start. And then now you go and out to Amazon and the like, you go get 1,000 folks to try it. For you to get some idea of where you're at with the product.
I love that.
It's full circle. It's full circle. You're tough on the kiddos, and then they're tough on you with the tasting. That's how it goes.
He built these little machines.
I got a list. I got a list for you, dude.
That's big.
Hey, Mark, one last question. Can I get that body just on the kettle chips? Like, just eat the chips?
No.
Can I get that? I'm just a question.
Funny, I say, because people do know, they go, you don't even snack, and because I'm honest about it. I don't eat snacks. I mean, it's not like that. Where this came is for multiple reasons. The category, a minimalist product, seed oil free, and if I ever did have something like something like a good old kettle chip is something I like. But the reason I build something like this is for the platform. I'm transparent. It's part of the story is I get to tell people how I'd like them to snack less and where and what they should be doing in order to get healthy are doing these 3 things, right? People want that today. They want transparency. They want some honesty coming from a brand. And because I know chips are in every household across America, I knew that this is a really good gateway, and the product's minimalist and all the good stuff. So
Love that.
no, dude, you're doing fine.
Yeah.
I know you're pumping iron. You just fucking go to the gym and you eat a majority of whole foods that are rich in protein, and you're all good. No booze. Don't be doing weird things on the fucking weekends, and
You'll be squared away. Hey, well, you heard it from my man himself, Mr. Mark Samuel. Thank you for joining us today. That's going to wrap up another Dadgood Community Spotlight with the one and only Mr. Mark Samuel. Just a quick reminder for you guys, new episodes released every single Friday. You can check us out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to tune in to all the latest updates of the Dadgood community coming at you on your very own LinkedIn timeline. Mark Samuel, thanks so much for hanging out with us, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, Mark.
Peace.